Hey there everybody, Two-Tone back, and I've got a new build for you. So kind of the main thing I've been hearing people like commenting on my videos for like the last month is, hey Two-Tone, are you going to make a Mitsurugi Spyral version? Are you going to make a Mitsurugi Spyral deck? I'm like, well, I don't think there's any kind of inherent synergy between these cards that's like, it's not like with Allure Queen, which you can see here in this build, where the effect of the card naturally bridges into Spyral. But Mitsurugis are so powerful that you can kind of force the issue just by, using generic extra deck cards that will get you to Spiral one way or another. And as you can see in this build, we're using Curious. So Habakiri is a completely busted card. The way the Mitsurugis work together with Habakiri, it's like you can kind of do anything. You can do nuclear fusion because it just makes so much material. So I've actually got two separate builds of Mitsurugi. You might notice this video is kind of long considering I only usually do two combos. You're going to see three today. You're going to see this version, which is the Curious version. Then I've got a second version that I'm going to show you right after this. And both of those combos, I'm going to show you just what you do when you draw Habakiri. Though, the way Spyral and also Mitsurugi work is like, depending on your hand, you have to adjust it, and that's just like an experience thing. But I will show you the basic Habakiri combos for both decks, and then the Spyral combo, which is basically the same for either deck. All right, let's get going. And as you can see, I'm already ready in solo mode here. And for anyone who didn't notice, Appaloosa, our good friend Appaloosa, got banned, so we're having to change that our extra deck up just a little bit to work around that, but you'll see. Oh man, isn't it perfect? I didn't even have to like do this multiple times. I just get to open up with Habakiri. Normally you'd want Nightsword Serpent in your deck, but it's not a big deal either way. So actually what I'm going to do here, because it doesn't matter, get to do it all in one take. Ain't that nice? So you don't go through Magician Souls in this version of the combo, so we're just going to do this to shuffle back our cards. So we put Nightsword Serpent back in deck, and okay, now you get to see what just Habakiri does. We're going to pretend every other card in our hand does not matter except for possible discards. So you're going to Habakiri, send the red one. His name is Saji, and Saji's effect will go get you the Ritual. Then you will Ritual, summoning the Habakiri from hand with the second effect, which is the one that summons from hand, by sending two cards from deck to graveyard to fulfill its summon. It's Branded Fusion, everybody. It's just Branded Fusion before a Ritual monster. So you'll send two guys, that Nightsword Serpent. Now, you can actually send from hand, too. So if you draw the Nightsword Serpent and you can't shuffle back, it still works. So don't fret too much if you draw the Nightsword Serpent. You don't have to shuffle back the way I just did. But now you will trigger Nightsword Serpent, and you will trigger Kusanagi, the purple one, to get back Ritual. I think technically you should trigger Kusanagi first and Chain Block with Nightsword Serpent, but I don't, it's neither here nor there. So yeah, Chain Block your Kusanagi, but shouldn't matter too much. They would, if they had like a freaking Soulmeister, they would have used it on Saji, right? Then you will Ritual, tributing Habakiri to special summon from deck. So it's also like a super emergency teleport, as well as Branded Fusion. The card's pretty nuts, but you have to have Mitsurugi's for it to do anything, obviously. Prayers is actually the best card in the deck, besides Habakiri. Then you'll trigger Habakiri to go search Prayers. I'm going to pretend I don't already have this Prayers in hand. And special summon back Habakiri. Then you will Prayers, tributing Murakumo. This is kind of like the way the deck works, is like all the cards tribute each other, and then they trigger effects based on being tributed. It's kind of like it's like a ritual deck where every card in your deck is Cyber Angel Benton. So add Aramasa. Special summon back one of the guys in graveyard. Doesn't matter which one, just don't do it. Don't do Murakumo, because as you can see, because we tributed Murakumo, it'll come back and you get to search a card. So in this case, I will search Prayers. If you are running Purification and you hard drew Prayers like I did, you could get Prayers plus Purification. But in this build, because you're not guaranteed to have two extra spell traps or whatever, or you're not guaranteed to have the Mitsurugi on field, I just always search the Prayers. Prayers is your interaction from Mitsurugi on top of doing the Spyral combo. And the last piece here is you Aramasa, and you just get to add an extra Habakiri. Doesn't really matter. If you wanted to play the other Mitsurugi guy and add him here, that'd be fine too, but I don't bother. So here's what you're going to do. As you can see, I have used my normal summon, but because we're doing the Allure Queen version, you don't actually need your normal summon that much. Mitsurugi has just put 5 monsters on the field, 4 without even normal summoning, and because of that, you could just kind of hard force Curious by going Dark. Make sure you use Nightsword Serpent as one of these link materials. And if your opponent like has a Dark Monster in graveyard for whatever reason, then you could like obviously +1 here, but we're going to pretend they don't. And they're going to make any other Dark Monster. In this case, I use Little Knight. So Dark and Little Knight are my go-to. Like, you got to turn 2 material into 2 Dark Monsters twice. And these are the best going second cards that fulfill that niche. And then Warrior plus Spellcaster plus Reptile makes Curious. It also makes Selene, but... So if you open to Souls, you could like make a Selene with Dark and stuff. But not super relevant here. We're pretending that's not the case. And now you use Curious. And of course, because of Allure Queen, searching one particular trap card with Curious gets you to the combo. You need to chain the trap card, the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, to Curious, so you don't accidentally mill your Rainbow Beast Garnet, which would then turn off the entire like concept of what we're doing here. Then you'll add Allure Palace. So like technically the worst case scenario here would be like if Curious milled like every single Allure Queen, merge your Chaos Allure Queen. So like that's something you got to live with. And if that's the case, you have to just like play as if, you know, whatever extra cards in your hand, you have to play around with those. So we're gonna do Allure Palace. You could like run extra Chaos Allure Queens, but this deck does not have much room in the first place anyhow. And we're gonna discard the Crystal Beast that we always search, and add Chaos Allure Queen. Do not summon her to the field, add her to your hand. In this situation, we're going to discard Illusion of Chaos, because why not? It's just an extra card in hand. Technically, if you for some reason had no cards in hand, you would have this prayers that you could discard. Although that's not ideal, because then you wouldn't have prayers to set at the end of your turn. So we're gonna discard Allure Queen for Chaos Allure Queen. And you've seen this before in my other video where I just demonstrate the Allure Queen combo, but it lets you Spyral combo without normal summoning. We will special summon the other one. And because of that, we can use our normal summon for the Aramasa and do this whole combo. And we summon a Master Plan. Master Plan effect. Add Assault Mission here. And your zoning is important here, so make sure you follow along with me here. You're going to Nightmare Goblin, and you need to summon it to the middle zone. This is important because of the way the arrows line up. So we got Nightmare Goblin. Effect. Discard Assault Mission. You're going to add Quick Fix and a Spyral Resort. And because it's annoying me, I'm going to just activate this Maxi. Get out of my hand. Get out of here, Maxi. Alright, now we're going to normal summon Quick Fix. Into the Nightmare Goblin zone. Activate. Get Drone. You need to get Drone, otherwise you can't, you know, hit your double Helix. I guess you could, like, search Super Agent and fire Super Agent and, like, discard a Rescue or something. But you always want to Drone. Drone's better. And this works just fine. So you're going to Drone them. You're going to look at the top of their deck. Usually put a monster on top. They're going to summon Helix. And again, this is important. Your zoning is important here. We're going to summon Helix to this zone. Because the reason why it's just Puzzlemino... Oh, well, you'll see in a second. So-called monster. Search our other Quick Fix. Special summon. And now we get Big Red. Go ahead and activate Spyral Resort and search Sleeper here. If you milled Sleeper, you could search Quick Fix and then discard Quick Fix and discard Quick Fix again. There's like ways to get around milling your Sleeper, but you know I don't want to go into detail. That's just regular Spyral stuff that you should be familiar with from our Curious lines in the past. So go and get Master Plan. Go ahead and start searching rescue missions. And at this point, you can go ahead and make our good friend Puzzlemino. So would you discard rescue mission? Summon. Activate. Now technically, if you didn't have enough cards in your hand at this point, because you had to do that thing I did with the Allure Queen, technically what you could do is you could rescue back Master Plan and then turn this into Link Kuriboh and send Link Kuriboh plus Master Plan for Chorozo. But this is what you should do if that's not the problem, right? So we're going to discard our extra card here, which is, I guess, me. I mean, we got an extra prayers here. We'll just discard that. This is the prayers we searched, so that's just random cards you get to discard. Do not use the Puzzlemino effect here. We got our last Big Red. You also could have searched Big Red and discarded that and then added Last Resort. Same difference, really. So we're going to summon. Rescue Mission back Master Plan. Now, if you're in this situation, what you will do, don't Puzzlemino, but what you will do is you'll search with Rescue Mission with Master Plan, and then you could probably activate Princess Sprite just to add, just to like maybe you'll draw droplets or something. I'm not going to because it adds variance that I don't want to deal with. So what we're going to do now is summon summon Chorozo to the Puzzlemino zone. And on this side, it seemed like a really absurd way to get an Omni Negate, because we're going to turn this guy to a level 3. Puzzlemino. And discard Rescue Mission with Quick Fix. And summon. And then you make Herald. This might seem like a really absurd way to get to an Omni Negate. But The purpose here is the Herald of Arclight Puzzleomino stuff comes up on the Spyral side of the combo. So because we want the Spyral side to work, we run this stuff. And now that you already run it, you might as well come up with a way to make it like part of your inboard. So Herald is part of my inboard. Ta-da! So now we're going to Rescue Mission Back Master Plan. Summon. Activate Rescue Mission. Obviously, do not chain your Herald. That would be bad. And now we're going to turn these three, Curious, Master Plan, and Herald. Now, I know this seems silly, but bear with me. It makes sense in a second. And to our good friend, Aliko Tucker. Oh, I should have summoned him right here. Oh, well. You get an add a card because of Herald, which is funny. They're going to turn two guys into a Bawaku. You could, so if I had summoned Aliko Tucker to the left-hand side, I could have kept Helix on field, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to discard Rescue Mission. And we're going to banish a Bawaku and special summon back our Herald. They're going to summon Sleeper. Banishing these, doesn't really matter. Equip Last Resort. Set Prayers. And then you'll end your turn. And it's important that we leave a zone open, because now we get to a Bawaku, summon back. And you're going to Spyral Resort, and if you're going to Spyral Resort, you probably want to put back, like, Kusanagi. This is the one that lets you re-buy your ritual and stuff. Alright, so, what's the board look like? What does the board look like? We got Aliko Tucker putting down to a Link 2. This could be either Puzzleomino or Double Helix. It doesn't matter which one. I guess Puzzleomino is fine because you can use them as a pop. So this is probably actually ideal. So forget what I said. Do this. You got Sleeper for double pop. You got Herald negate. You got this negate, and you got Prayers. Prayers can summon back Murakumo, who pops their entire board. It's a Raigeki effect, and then has an effect that like forces them to discard to survive a negate. So it's a lot. So I'm just gonna show everything off against this poor bot. Alright, so we're just going to Prayers now because it's funny. You're going to tribute the Hapakiri that's in your hand, obviously. It gets to get banished, but then you get to do both effects. So you're going to add a Kusanagi from deck to hand as your follow-up. Obviously, that's the point here. And then special summon Murakumo to here. Murakumo's effect. We'll destroy their card. Well, I want to show off the Bawaku stuff, so we will in a second. So let's assume it's still my opponent's turn, right? So, pop this. Well, damn it, they didn't do anything. Well, basically the idea is that you could chain Herald to their next effect, and then once Herald resolves, you get to search another ritual monster, maybe an Illusion of Chaos, to discard for your Bawaku. And you would have your prompts on, so before your opponent can activate another card, you would activate a Bawaku, discarding a card, and summoning back Herald, reestablishing your Floodgate, reestablishing your Omni Negate. So basically this board is Omni Negate, Omni Negate, Omni Negate, Raigeki, plus force them to discard a card or an Omni Negate, double pop, and then if you can set up Rescue Mission, which I have, which is in the regular combo, you can Rescue Mission back any Spyral monster, like Quick Fix or Drone or whatever, to this zone, change its level, and then pop another monster. So pop, 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 negate, 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 and infinite follow-up because you have Kusanagi too, because Kusanagi can get back Prayers can get you to mirror, and basically you have anything you want. You have everything you want. And yeah, that's the combo, and now I'm going to show you the other variant that I have that's a little different than this, that has some pros and some cons. Alright, and here's the second variant. For anyone who's familiar with a previous build I did, Young, a person in the Spyral Discord, came together with this like Isolde combo from way back when that relied on like a MX Saber Invoker. I think I still have, yeah, MX Saber Invoker summoning Super Agent and going into an Isolde line. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We're doing the same kind of Isolde tech where you summon Renaud, sending Arabesque, and then you Arabesque bounce Renaud, summon Hare, and then summon Renaud, make Herald, Herald get Illusion of Chaos. Same basic premise here. But we're doing that with Mitsurugi, and Mitsurugi can do that very easily because Mitsurugi makes rank 4s, and Battling Boxer King Densey can get you to Fire Flame Lady. Now, there's a sub-variant of this deck. If you want to cut the Fire Flame Lady, what you can do is cut King Dempsey, and then just run like any generic any generic warrior link monster that has a down pointing arrow, and I think the only one is actually the Codebreaker guy, this one. You'd probably run this guy, and you could turn this guy plus a little knight with your bodies into Isolde, but it's a little worse because you end up having to use up your Habakiri, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's go ahead and get to the combo. Let's see if I can get lucky and spike it just like last game. Woo. Come on, Habakiri and opening hand. Let's go. Oh, we did it. It's that easy. And just for the sake of not messing up the combo, it doesn't matter if you draw Arabesque, but I'm going to show you what it's like when you don't draw Arabesque, because that's the more common scenario. So now we're going to open Preparation of Rites. Get Mirror. Get Habakiri. So here's the combo, assuming you just have Habakiri in hand. We're going to presume these other 4 cards are blanks, and we never added this Mirror, because the combo works with just Habakiri, obviously. So it's going to look the same as the first one. Send Saji, Saji effect. Add Ritual. Branded Ritual. Use the second effect. Make sure to use the second effect. You don't want to mess it up. Send Night Sword Serpent and Kusanagi. Purple. If it's hard to remember, start with red, then go purple. Purple effect. Chain block by Night Sword Serpent this time. Doing it correctly. That is the more relevant ability, because it's easier to get a level 4 on the field than it is to recur your Ritual. Do-do-do. And you're going to Ritual. Though if your opponent had Skull Monster, like I said, they would probably use it on the Saji, but it matters. So, same effect here. Send Habakiri to get Habakiri's effect when tributed. Summon Murakumo. And the thing that I do differently with this is because this build is a little more efficient at using the material, you actually get to end on Purification, which is why I have it in this version. But you don't have to play it like that. You could just end on Prayers if you wanted to, and you'll see how in a second. So, you add the first Prayers effect, Tribute Murakumo, just like before. Use both. Now this is where it gets different. This is the first part that's different. You could just special summon. Now last time I special summoned a guy from the graveyard just to maximize material. This time I'm going to save my normal summon by summoning Aramasa. Bam. Now we're going to Aramasa effect just to add one. Doesn't really matter. And Murakumo effect. I guess you should chain block Murakumo because that's the more important effect here, because that's what gets you to your interaction. Because actually we could combo from this point, right? We got the guys. But we're doing it sloppy here on the two-tone channel. So here's the Isolde line. So yeah, pretty similar up until this point. You go King Dempsey uses effect on summon to add Fire Flint Lady from deck to hand. And then you can activate Fire Flint Lady to special summon. And now you get Isolde. Now, when you summon Isolde, do not use her on summon effect unless you have a tough in your deck and you can add him. Because if you added Super Agent here, even though you don't search him throughout this combo, it would negate your Helix later, so that would be bad. So just skip over the first effect, then use the second. We send Arabesque here, summoning Renaud. Renaud bouncing back Arabesque to our hand, or returning it to our hand, whatever. Then you Arabesque on Renaud, bounce Renaud, to get him in hand so you can turn him into a tuner. Because he must be special summoned from hand when you have a Fire Warrior monster to become a tuner. And, wow, 1 plus 3, that equals our good friend 4 for Herald of Arclight. Now at this point you would just make any generic Link 2. I guess in this case I'll just make Puzzlamino, it doesn't really matter. We'll just make Nightmare Phoenix. That's like the most disposable Link 2 in our extra deck. So just make this just to trigger Herald, doesn't really matter otherwise. We're not using Puzzlamino or anything, and this is where you start to lose in the Chaos. And then you would use Illusion of Chaos, add Magician's Souls, activate Magician's Souls, sending Master Plan. And the nice thing about this, so in the previous Makako combo, we had to add Dragonox to our deck to make all those one-card combos actual one-card combos, because Dragonox would be our third spell, but Mitsurugi, because it's a ritual deck, goes through a ritual spell, a quick play spell, and you go through Arabesque in this process, so we guarantee getting to Selene here. So now we Selene, summon Master Plan, get yourself a rescue mission. This is the nice part about saving your normal summon. Now if you had to open with your normal summon, because you were baiting effects like your normal summon quick fix, you would search Assault Mission here and discard that and do something a little differently. But this is assuming everything goes right? You go Nightmare Goblin, linking off these two. And if you get Prayers of Purification, you can also link off Murakumo, but it's not that big a deal either way. But you want to do Nightmare Goblin now because it gives you your normal summon and it lets you discard your rescue mission, which is nifty. But if you had a normal summon quick fix, you could discard Assault here and then Assault in a drone, and then you could drone in because you would still have quick fix on the field, and then you could drone and then drone plus quick fix makes Helix, and that gets you to combo otherwise. So now we're going to normal summon quick fix into the Goblin Zone. My favorite zone. And you had your Spyral drone. And guess what? We never used our normal summon. Bam! Like I said, so if you had to use your normal summon to bait an effect, you would get Assault mission here and then summon drone. And put a monster on top. Why not? This is going to look familiar, but it's basically the same idea. Activate effect. Call monster. Get yourself the quick fix. And at this point, we're just building up the same material, and we're getting to functionally the same board, but with Purification instead of Prayers. And if you open Prayers in this build, you can set both, and it's good to have both. They're both good. I'll obviously get our Sleeper at this point. The other nice thing, so I'll go through the pros and cons, but like the other nice thing I want to mention here is that we never mill anything, so there's never any weirdness with Curious in this build. That's one of like the other upsides. So we're going to Rescue Mission Back Master Plan, and at this point, we're just making material. We're just churning out junk. We're going to go to our good friend. This is our Appaloosa replacement, Allied Kotaker. You saw in the previous combo. And discard with Quick Fix. And summon. And if you wanted to, if for some reason you were low on cards for whatever reason, you can always add Big Red here. I would not recommend you do this. You could discard any other card in my hand at this point, but you are guaranteed to have this Big Red. So you can always do this to make sure this works. But again, obviously in this particular instance, I would keep Big Red in hand because that's a good card. And this is the same difference here. You would have Princess Sprite, and you would use it because you're a good player and you want a +1, and maybe you'll draw droplets or a talents or something. And none of this is super relevant or necessary, but this works. So we get Rescue Mission. And last thing we're going to do here is summon our good friend Abawaku. Abawaku, discard Rescue Mission. And this is nifty because like you can put a Rescue Mission in grave, which lets you Rescue Mission back double helix if for some reason like your opponent kills your double helix. And that lets you redo your Allied Kotaker. But this is the same gimmick here, Abawaku plus Herald's Energy. And this is actually something that I came up with for a Yummy combo, but Yummy doesn't exist yet. So we'll get to that later. So anyhow, Special Summon Sleeper, banishing these three. I've discarded the Big Red, so I might as well banish it, but you have quick fixes to banish here, obviously. And then you get to set Purification. And in this case, obviously, I'd have a droplet set or whatever, but now we get to end our turn. And another fun thing about this combo is that you don't have to use as many rescue missions. You don't have to, if you have a super agent, because you have extra rescue missions, you could like discard your super agent off one of those discards. And then you have rescue mission for super agent pop, which is relevant. And once again, we can do that thing where we send Kusanagi back to our deck, so we can like add it later if this guy gets distributed, or you could mirror this guy and summon Habakiri and get it, blah blah blah. And this is the same basic combo. But now we have Purification. Haha. So if you wanted another effect, typically you would Murakumo first, but like if you want another Omni Negate, you can add back your Prayers for next turn and Special Summon Murakumo. Ta-da! Oh no! They're attacking me! And then you'll pop with the Sleeper. Because you can imagine this is them trying to attack your Herald, right? And you keep that Floodgate, keep that Omni Negate going. Oh, I get to demonstrate this time. Okay, so we're going to Herald. You're going to have your prompts on. Right? Now you're going to let this resolve. And the reason you let this resolve is if your opponent has Call by the Grave, they can Call by the Grave here. And you could chain a Baoku to negate the Call by the Grave. Now you're going to activate this, let this resolve, get yourself a Habakiri and Illusion of Chaos, doesn't really matter. And now, because your prompts are on, your opponent doesn't get to do anything at a regular speed, at spell speed 1, before you can discard your extra card that you added off your Herald, and summon back Herald with a Baoku. And the fun thing about Herald is none of its effects are hard once per turns. So you can negate again. And then Abawaku comes back because she's an infinite engine. And so like this is an infinitely recursive plus oneing every turn because you can like Illusion of Chaos, because you're adding Illusion of Chaos through this thing, and you can Illusion of Chaos shuffle back Habakiri, so next time you use your Herald, you would be able to still get its effect, right? You can just do silly shit like this. Well, it's not infinite because you run out of Magician Souls, but you get the gist here, right? It's in this case, it's 1, 2, 3 Purification of Negate, Murakumo discard, pop, and all that jazz. And there's actually, if you want to use your normal summon on Aramasa, there's actually a way to end on prayers too sometimes, but that requires a second card in hand. But yeah, this is the way you get to Purification without going through extra hoops, because if I tried to do that with the Curious build, I'd have to like, it would necessitate me having a second card in hand to combo with the Mitsurugis. Alright, so yeah, this gets you to the Purification if you want to run Purification, and now I guess we'll go into the pros and cons of both decks at the end, but these are the basic combos. Oh! I'm being silly. No, I'm going to show you the Spyral side of the combo, which works for either version of the deck because the Curious and Isolde stuff does not come up on the Spyral side of the combo. So let's get to that next. Alright, here's the Spyral side of the combo. It works with either version because you play the right cards in either version, so you know the deal. Soul's Quick Fix and all that jazz. I'm going to shuffle back this Mitsurugi Prayer so it stops prompting me, but obviously drawing Mitsurugi Prayers would be great here. This hand was insane. As long as they're not, you know, the Naturia beasting me, we're good. Ooh, don't want to activate that. Activate Fire Resort, do the Quick Fix stuff. So Quick Fix. Generally speaking, you want to summon Souls in this case because your opponent might have an Imperm, and if they might not read Spyral Resort, and if you normal summon Quick Fix, they might try to Imperm your Souls, and that'd be very funny. I'm going to Big Red Master Plan. And obviously, if you were in my shoes here, you would Souls, draw 2, sending Rescue Mission and Big Red because that's the right thing to do. But I'm not going to like bother with like what might change depending on if I draw Habakiri or something, right? We're just going to pretend I didn't. So in this case, Nightmare Goblin's just your generic discard, just regular old Spyral combo at this point. Actually, my prompts on later for Puzzlemino, so yeah. Sleeper here. And obviously sometimes you have Super Agent and sometimes you don't, because like if you open Souls plus Rescue, we're going to pretend I don't even have Super Agent. That's, you know, because sometimes you open like Souls plus Big Red or Souls plus Rescue and you have to search Quick Fix instead of Super Agent there, so we're just going to pretend Super Agent doesn't even matter. Because it doesn't. It's not necessary. Alright. And Master Plan. And just like before, you want to have your Helix on the left-hand side in that first combo where like the Puzzlemino zones were really important. Your Puzzlemino is going to be here, so your Helix needs to be over here. So discard with Quick Fix. Card Assault Mission. And doing the Spyral combo, you don't... Basically, you go through a Mitsurugi line just because it's efficient. Just like you're playing the card, so you might as well get the best inboard out of it. But the purpose of the Mitsurugi cards is to do the Spyral combo. The Spyral combo, getting to the Mitsurugi cards, is like very minimally important. You get like one real interaction out of it, but you might as well. So call Monster. So the Quick Fix. Effect. Get your Assault Mission. Going to go to Link Karibo, or your last resort, not your Assault Mission. And we're going to discard. And you've probably seen this before. Discard Rescue Mission. Summon Quick Fix. And get your last Big Red. Just so you don't accidentally draw it off Princess Sprite. So once again, like I said, this is just like with the Curious side of the combo. Like, you know, we did the Mitsurugi stuff into Curious, and we'd already added our Mitsurugi follow-up. You're basically just kind of doing it in reverse, or doing it flipped. Doing the second half first and the first half second. So you make Puzzlemino. And then you'll detach. Because we gotta get a discard out of here later. Sure. And you need to clear some space. Well, not really. So we're gonna just rescue mission back. Well, yeah, we gotta clear some space. So we're going to. It doesn't matter. You just make like a link 2, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just make a link 2. Quick fix discard. Rescue mission. Ooh, come over here. Summon. Rescue back master plan. And once again, don't use your Puzzleomino yet. And we can just link Kriba for this, just for maximum efficiency. Chirozzo. Summon. Activate. Turn into a level 3. Quick fix. If you need to, you can discard your... We always have Illusion of Chaos here, right? Summon. And you can make Herald. Hey, Herald. What are you doing there? Summon Herald. And make Aliko Tucker. 3. Now, what's the most efficient way to do this? I kind of want to clear everyone because I need to go into a Nightmare Phoenix later. So I guess I should go. Clear all your zones. Trigger Herald to get Habakiri now. And this way we're just trying to get Murakumo plus a Bawaku on board, basically. So this is all pretty trivial. So you send Saji. Activate Saji. Get Ritual. And this is just to get a Prayers. Legitimately, let's just get Murakumo and Prayers. And 2 bodies. You could go for Purification if you're running Purification too, so. Add back Ritual. Summon Night Sword Serpent. Get back Ritual. Go get Ritual. Summon Murakumo. Sending Habakiri. You can have a Habakiri effect. Get yourself a Prayers. Now, you don't need the special summon Habakiri back. Like your board is done. You're about to do it, right? But might as well just to make the most efficient Abawaku possible. Then we're going to Prayers. Send Murakumo. Do both effects. Add Aramasa. There's an Aramasa. Well, it doesn't really matter which one, but you might as well, like, have the extra body, right? An Aramasa effect, and Murakumo effect. This is where you get your actual prayers that you set for your Murakumo. And you get your Murakumo. And now we just make her good friend Abawaku, because she's a link 4. So, 1. And if your combo was amazing and you had extra body, you could like throw a Little Knight on here, but you don't have the zones for it, really. So, you gotta make sure you have one of your Nightmares in your extra deck before you get to this point, obviously. And if you have a really good combo, you don't have to use your rescue mission, your extra rescue mission. You can do that rescue mission play where you summon to the Puzzleomino zone. It's really whatever you want to do. And you can discard that Habakiri that you added, just as like, you know, you guarantee have that card in rotation. Then you get back your Herald. And you did all that extra work just to get a Prayers on field, but hey, might as well, right? What's the harm? And obviously, I could have been more efficient because I had the Super Agent. I didn't have to use that last rescue mission or whatever. That would be the most efficient way to play it, but you don't always have Super Agent, so we're pretending I didn't. Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to set Prayers, but you get it. I set Prayers, and that's combo. And once again, we shove back Kusanagi, because if you like add him, you can get your Ritual back and all that jazz. Alright, yeah, and that's the combo. We're going to just tee off on the bot for fun. Yeah, Ally Kokaker, I haven't used you in all these combos yet. Hiya. banish that Thunder Dragon. All right, well, that's it. That's all the bot had. So let's get to the pros and cons. All right, so we are back in the deck build screen, and I'm going to go over kind of like the pros and cons of this deck, obviously. So the pros are you get to play Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi's powerful. It forces a lot of hand traps. It can break boards if your opponent even lets you go. Obviously, it's kind of like when we were playing Snake Eyes, and you started doing Snake Eyes stuff, and like Flambridge would like answer cards by pushing them back. Summoning a Murakumo just wipes their board. So if you're comboing, you're going to pop their entire board. That's really good. The cards are powerful, and everyone like has to play around them and beat them. So with the different variants, the pros and cons are with the Allure Queens, there are kind of the same number of bricks, but you get to play more true one-card starters, right? The one-card starters in this deck are Habakiri, anything that searches Habakiri, like Preparation, and the Allure stuff. That's all one-card starters and obviously Foolish Burial Goods. So playing the Allure Queen build, you could run more of these if you want to like make room with droplets or whatever. But you get to run 2 to 3 Allure Dance, 2 to 3 Allure Palace, Foolish Burial Goods, 3 Preparation of Rites, and 3 Habakiris. And Prayers is like a soft combo. But yeah. So like this has more combo power and more combo consistency, and you only play 3 true bricks, which are Cobalt Eagle and the 2 bad Allure Queens, because Chaos Allure Queen is kind of an extender in her own right, a spellcaster who discards a card is pretty good. And Rainbow Bridge, obviously you have a million ways to get this card sent with your souls and your Nightmare Goblin discarding it with any Mitsurugi guys. So this card's very, very easy to turn into a combo, even though it's kind of a brick if you only draw just it. So yeah, only 3 bricks and otherwise a full combo. The upsides for this deck are that you don't have to use your normal summon. You kind of saw it, that you can activate you can access Purification. If you want to like go a little harder, sometimes you can get to Prayers more easily. You can like, because this uses so much less material, you can like use 2 searches on Prayers and Purification, so you can like get both, the best of both worlds. You also don't have to run the Allure cards. The Allure cards are a really heavy engine, so as you can see here, I get to run Droll and Crossout and Droplets with no problems, right? And I've got all 9 copies of Souls, which is pretty nice in a 60-card deck. I didn't have to cut 2 copies of Souls, and I have room for like these extra tech cards. Like, these are the cards that I had cut to make the Allure Queen package work, because it's 5 more cards. It's just more cards with less options. So if you have like deck building quirks that you like to include, this one has a lot more room for it. Like even have Purification, that was into the deck, right? There's that many extra spaces. The other thing is the cons with this version is obviously that you're playing 4 bad cards, right? Arabesque, Hare, Renaud, and Fireflint Lady. These are all pretty bad. You can kind of get around it in some ways. If you want to, you can cut the Fireflint Lady and do like the Codebreaker thing. The combo looks a little different, but basically you get 4 Mitsurugi bodies on board and you kind of use your normal summon to do it. But I'm not sure why you would run this version if you were using your normal summon. Because you still need to have like 5 bodies. You would need 5 bodies for this to work exactly the way it was working before, where you get the extra Nightmare Goblin normal summon and whatnot. So I'm not sure this is like the best way to do it, but you could try that out. It's basically the same thing. You summon 4 Mitsurugi bodies the way I've shown you 3 times now, and you turn this guy and Little Knight into Isolde. It's that simple. You start with this guy because he has the arrow pointing down, then you summon Little Knight below him, and then you go into do Assault. Pretty straightforward. And then you could cut Fireflint Lady, which is then you're only running 3 bricks, but there's still 3 hard bricks and less starters. That's the important thing. You have less true starters. Without the like 5 to 7 Allure Queen starters, this deck doesn't have that many starters. Like Prayer's kind of a starter because it's search Habakiri, but if you've used your Prayer effect already, you don't get to tribute your Murakumo as easily, so it's a lot more risky. Like if you have Mirror or whatever, like you open Prep Rights, then it's not so bad. Like if you open Prep Rights plus Prayers, you're going to town because Mirror contribute your Murakumo. But this is just kind of getting to the nitty gritty of the pros and cons. The other obvious pro with this one is that you get the Purification. If you really, really want that Trap Negate to play around cards like Dark Ruler No More, this is pretty nifty because our board kind of just loses to Dark Ruler No More. It doesn't lose to Droplets that badly because of you have Herald. But if your opponent can normal summon a monster and then send it from the field, they can get around Herald and negate your entire board. And then you're kind of just relying on whatever your back row card is. And Purification's a much better interaction, I would say, once that's happened than Prayers, because like you can wait for your opponent to get some bodies on board, then activate a card that you would want to purify, and then pop their board. it's kind of like 6-1, half dozen the other on that. Like which one's better between prayers and purification. I think I just kind of I like ending on prayers a little more because the deck already puts up 3 Omni negates. So like this is like a different form of interaction. The pops, so like you're divesting your interest between pops and negates, but you know, pick your poison at this point. Right, this version gets more tech cards but has worse bricks, uh, and this version plays a little bit, a few less, like one less brick. It has more, but has more combo power, and but uses your normal summon, so it's not as easy. The other thing I will say, this version, I think I might like this version better, just because like it gets around Curious into Allure Queen gets around awkward hands a lot more easily. Like if you normal summon a quick fix and your opponent imperms your quick fix, and then you like go through a Mitsurugi line and then try to do some stuff, and your opponent like imperms you at the point of, or like they activate some kind of hand trap at some point in your Mitsurugi combo that's like a little awkward for you and stops you from getting like one extra material. Like Quick Fix turning into Link Trevo, and then a couple of bodies turning into Dark, and then one extra reptile going into Curious. That's like a much more like obtainable extension. You know, Souls kind of does the same thing, but if you have Souls, you usually pick Selena a lot of the time. But some say you don't have 3 spells for some reason, right? Like that's a much more obtainable like extension package. Like for instance, this works way better with prayers, where you can't get your second copy of prayers, or you can't activate the double effect of prayers. You have to search Habakiri. So like Quick Fix plus players goes into a more succinct combo if they like negate your quick fix. I know I'm just kind of blabbering and talking about hypotheticals, and it's kind of hard to picture in your head what's going on, what I'm meaning when I say like, well, this card works better with this, and this card works better with this. It's kind of like the Spyral thing. Whenever you're putting in a new engine, especially a complicated one like Mitsurugi, this is not a simple deck. That a lot of it comes down to like the play experience and like knowing which cards work well together. But the basic premise is Curious better than Isolde in a vacuum, but Isolde is more powerful because you use less material. That's the pros and cons besides the deck building choices. So yeah, that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, well, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and we should have another build of Spyral coming up in the near future, because I mentioned it previously in the video, but the Herald of Arclight stuff this is not the last place you're going to see it, because our good friend the Yummies work really well with this card, and Yummies work really well with Quick Fix, and well, get ready for that one, because I think it's probably going to be the best version of Spyral yet. But until then, enjoy Mitsurugi Spyral. Have a good one. Bye.